So I'm making this quick video today just to bring to your attention the following piece of news. Reklaim renews normal course issuer bid to repurchase up to 10% of public float. Yes, this press release is quite old, but well, I only had time to cover it now. Sorry. In any case, in 2026, Reklaim might buy back up to 10% of the shares owned by the general public. Now, remember this company, Reklaim? So it is still among us. It is still breathing. I've been covering it since the beginning of 2025. I'm also long on it as well. But to this moment, as you can see, this investment has not been successful, right? I mean, since I started talking about it, this stock went down more than 50%. And you see, the market seems to have forgotten about Reklaim completely. No one is talking about this company, no one is looking at it. However, as I said, it is still alive. And it actually seems to be doing fine, though their fourth quarter results are not out yet. But you see, my plan today is not to talk much about how this business is progressing. Instead, I just want to highlight this, that while the market is putting this company aside, ignoring it completely, this investment thesis is moving forward, okay? For example, privacy laws keep spreading across the US, they are getting increasingly more serious, and well, as a consequence, Reklaim is probably gaining more clients because of that, and now, as we've just seen, they might buy back up to 10% of the current float, which is also very good for investors. So, nobody seems to be paying attention to this company, to Reklaim. However, as I said, things keep moving forward. The business is evolving, and the signs are there. The truth, though, is that people will only get interested here when the stock finally skyrockets. But in any case, yes, Reklaim might buy back 10% of the current public float, which would represent about 6.5% of the whole company, okay? Now, why is that good for shareholders, right? Well, first because if Reklaim is buying back its own shares, that's because the company probably believes its own stock is cheap, right? And I think that no one is better positioned to say that, to assess that, than the company itself. Therefore, I think this buyback program reinforces the argument that Reklaim stock is indeed undervalued. So that's the first reason why I think this buyback program is positive. Oh, but the company might be doing that to artificially inflate its own stock. Well, yeah, that could be the case. However, with that said, let's remember that the CEO himself owns 35% of the company. Reklaim is his property. Reklaim is his baby, right? So you tell me, do you really think the CEO would go along with this buyback program if it were negative in any way for his company? Do you really think he would waste his own capital in a certain way, right, just to artificially inflate the stock price? Well, I don't think so. So yeah, this buyback program is positive because first, it signals that this stock is cheap, and secondly, because it increases the ownership stake of current investors. After all, if you have fewer shares outstanding, that means that the shares you own represent a larger piece of the pie, right? Besides, if there are fewer shares, it also becomes easier for the stock to appreciate. So yeah, Reklaim is evolving, and it might buy back up to 10% of the current float in 2026. For Mr. Market, that doesn't matter at all. For us investors, though, that's great news. Great news. Anyway, that's it for today, and see you next time.